Hey, dude, this dog leg stinks, man. Okay, groomer, do something about it, man.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey, all you pet stylists. You found the GroomPod. Welcome to our virtual salon. My name is Susy, and I'm your host. I'm a mobile groomer from Seattle, Washington, and anyone who knows me will tell you I love to talk, especially about my job. One of my favorite people to talk to is my friend and mentor and co-star of the show, Miss Barbara Bird.
Hey, Susie. So excited to be back with you on the air. And I can't wait to share what I learned from my deep dive into chemical engineering. Woo-hoo!
Excellent. You, as the curator of ingredients, are the perfect person for that subject. And you know what else? We're going to talk trip reports, which is definitely more of a roller coaster thing, but we're going to call it a trip report because we went to Atlanta together and we had so much fun. This podcast is brought to you by our kind sponsors, Best Shot, Showseason, Precision Sharp, Groom'd, and Stasco. And this is episode 405 of the GroomPod. And it just so happens to be St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 2024 in Snohomish, Washington and Tucson, Arizona. If you guys would like to, oh yeah, Barbara's got a scarf on. A St. Patrick's Day scarf.
And St. Patrick's Day nail polish.
Fabulous, but you took the golden bird down.
Yeah, I did because I broke the nail.
Oh, in case you guys didn't catch it, Barbara had a gold finger, and it was the communication finger, very necessary in this world, and it's gone now. It's green. But very sparkly green. I do think it's attractive color and it matches the scarf. So this week we're going to talk about the trip report and what's new this week. Brought to you by Groom'd software. If you haven't found Groom'd, you're missing out. Groom'd is an all-in-one software solution for your grooming business. Whether you are a solo mobile groomer or manage several shops, Groom'd has everything you need. 24-hour online booking and forms, routing, credit card processing, reminders, Google Calendar and QuickBooks integration, and so much more. And the best customer service anywhere. Shop mobile or house call, Groom'd has you covered. And they're giving us a free month. Just enter GroomPod22 in the coupon code. So as you guys know, I've been off of work for almost a month with the combination of going to Atlanta and having a broken axle. But I got my trailer back, my axle all installed, and it's new and it's beefy and it's bright and shiny, and I have new hubs. And I had one tire, though, that had kind of an odd wear pattern from the damaged axle parts.
The situation.
The situation, yes, from the situation. And I knew I had to get a new tire. But meanwhile, I've got grooming appointments stacked up everywhere. I've got an extra dog every day for till about April 15th, which that's a long time with no days off. I'll make it. It's not that big a deal. Anyway, I was driving along the middle of the day on Monday, and it sounded like I had a rock in my tire. Tick, 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 tick. And I thought I better get out and check, do a little inspection. So at the end of the very long driveway, because I'm kind of rural out here, I walked around my vehicle and I looked because it sounded like it might be in one of my front tires, but it wasn't. So I checked the rear tires. I walked around the trailer. Visually, everything looked okay. I drove away and I heard tick, 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 tick. And then it stopped. And I thought, oh, good, the rock fell out. And I got on the freeway and I drove 10 miles and I got off the freeway and arrived at my client's house and walked back to find that my lug nuts weren't tightened down. And I had lost one lug nut and my wheel was all wacky and I had chewed up the hub and there was no way I could drive it home. And it was pure error on my welder's part. And so he had to fix it. But I had to cancel the next day of work again.
Oh, God.
I don't know how I didn't spot the problem because I walked around and I inspected, as you should when you hear something weird. Get out of your car and look. And I did, but it wasn't bad enough to find at that point, apparently. And then it ejected the the one lug nut. And I was lucky. I got there. It was the last appointment of the day. I decided to leave my trailer at her house and get up the next morning and call AAA. That's why I have AAA. Even though I claim not to be a business, they do come and get me. So I thought the last time that I called AAA, it took them 3 hours to come and get me. So I'm about a half an hour from this client's house. So I figured I'd just call AAA from my house and set the tow up, and then I would have plenty of time to drive over there and get ready, empty the water out of my trailer, and watch carefully as the guy pulls it up onto the flatbed. Well, after discussing with this lovely woman who was the AAA dispatcher, we had a marvelous conversation. I enjoyed her tremendously, which is not always the case when you call AAA. She said, well, it'll be probably about 3 hours, maybe a little bit more. But because you're such a unique situation, the driver will have to call you before they decide who's going to come out and make sure they can handle your wide trailer. And I said, okay, no problem. So I'm minding my own business, doing my chores at the house, cleaning, feeding, preparing. And I look down at my AAA app, and the guy's 5 minutes from the car. 5 minutes.
Oh.
It had only been like 20 minutes since the phone call. And I, of course, wasn't there, so I panicked, and I called my client who was supposed to go to the gym. She stayed home and met the AAA guy, but he was mad. He was very mad that I was not there with my vehicle. And I said, I understand, but she said you were going to call before you come, and he's barely spoke English, and it was a little challenging. But best tow truck driver ever. He put it up so quickly and got everything loaded and ready, and he had to wait 6 minutes for me. And because my client was there, he was willing to do it, but he was very grumpy when I got there. We started off, and I couldn't find my keys, and he drove up the road, and I said, I'll be right behind you. Of course, he drove away, and I wasn't right behind him. So I sped the whole way to where the truck had to go, to where my welder is. I sped as fast as I could, like maybe, I hope there's no police listening, maybe like 80 miles an hour on the highway. I kept looking for the trailer. Where's the trailer? Why haven't I passed him? Why aren't I catching up? And I wasn't catching up. And as far as I could see, I couldn't see any trailer. Well, I got there like 15 minutes before he did. I guess I know the back ways, and I'm a good driver. Very naughty of me. I felt bad. But he got there, and the welder came in, and he got me a new tire and new rim on him, and then he fixed everything, and everything underneath looks fine. But the cool thing about it is it was like Mother Nature reaching down and giving me a hand, because the whole 3 weeks I was home, there was only one day that wasn't raining where I could ride. But the day I had to cancel was 60 degrees and sunny and gorgeous, and I got to ride the horse, even though I had to run back and forth a little bit with the trailer. But it was like fate stepping in and giving me a day off with the sun. Now, no more days off, though. Now I had to reschedule yet another day, so I'm even a little farther out. If you can't handle this, though, you're not meant to be a mobile groomer. That's just the way it works.
But every time you have one of these situations, it just scares the shit out of me.
That's why I said don't get mad.
I hate that fucking trailer. I hate you being like that.
I know. Well, it's all rebuilt underneath. Now it's just the cabinetry that's falling apart and my rhino lining on the walls. And I can buy Sharon's van when it finally breaks. Or for less than $20,000, I can order one of those cool battery-powered trailers that we saw at Groom'd. Those were really cool.
I want to talk to you a little bit about, I think maybe this came up on the GroomPod. I'm not sure where I saw it, but in my feed somewhere, I saw that a study had been done on dogs to see if they love their people or they just like treats. That was the premise. Do they act like this because they love us, or do they just want treats?
Those of us who use treats a lot, like I am a treat dispenser, I wonder that.
So what they did was they used treats versus praise. And I'm a praiser. I praise dogs a lot when I get the right behavior, because I can't always get a treat to them fast enough to connect the behavior with the treat.
And they won't take it sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes they don't want your fucking treats. Yeah. You think you're going to buy me off with a fucking treat? No way, lady. It was a complicated study. First, they trained the dogs to stay still in the MRI machine.
Cooperative care.
And so in my mind, that sort of already changed the situation because they had to train them. Then outside of the MRI machine, they did a series of training where they had these little things on a stick. And that one thing on a stick meant that praise was coming. And another little animal on a stick meant that food was coming, treats were coming. So the dog was either anticipating praise or anticipating treats, right? So then they put the dog in the MRI machine and they start waving these sticks in front of the MRI.
Targets,
yeah. And then they looked at what happened in the brain.
Cool.
What stimulated the serotonin, which is the good, yummy feeling of love, serotonin. So the truth is, the praise also raised the serotonin level. Not quite as much as the treats, but there was significant response to the praise target, and that suggested that dogs love us for our praise and our love of them, as well as because we are the master of the treat bag and or food bowl.
Well, that's cool.
I think this has a lot of application at the grooming table because I swear I've always taught people don't use the word no because that word has been destroyed by ways that it has been used at home. The word no just kind of goes swoosh for most dogs. It's like you're being a bitch again, huh? So you got to do a unique word or sound, even like growling at them works. Like, yeah, that's a good one. That's what I use instead of saying, no, don't do that. Yeah.
That's good.
Got to sound kind of angry and kind of guttural. And then when they do the right thing, good boy, good girl. And what I noticed was that they held those targets very steady and they gave very simple praise. Good boy, good girl. Not enough to get the dog overexcited about it's getting praised, but just enough to register.
It's important to read the dog that you have on your table. Some dogs are really motivated by food, but other dogs are much more motivated by touch. And touching in a safe spot like the shoulders, not necessarily on the face. Some dogs do like their face touch. Other dogs do really well with happy puppy voice. Good job! Good boy! Good girl, like you're saying.
I have a whole little alter voice that I do with altered language. I do that to my dogs and they just go crazy over me in the morning or waking up in bed.
Then there's also the rare dog that doesn't want any of it and just wants you to do the job and get to work, like a Border Collie or an Australian Shepherd, where they're really one person, one family dogs, and they tolerate you because you're in the inner circle, but they really don't want to be interacted with. They just want you to do your job and leave them alone. And you've just got to, like I say, be able to read the dog on the table. This is huge for behavior cases. It's the core for behavior cases because the majority of behavior dogs will not take a treat. It's all about praise and backing off on the pressure and giving them a break. Sometimes a break is what they need. Not even to be talked to, but just to back off for a minute of what is putting them under pressure. So there's lots of ways to reward them for being good. Being good. You're so good. Hey, let's take a break and come back with our trip report. How's that sound?
Okay, cool. I'm ready.
Did you know that Stasco has come out with a couple of new products? First, there's the Stasco Oatmeal Protein Conditioner. This conditioner provides exceptional body and manageability and super shiny finishes. And it has a wonderful apple scent that I love. Great in the recirculator, too. And they have a new matching protein conditioning spray, dematting, anti-static conditioning, and finishing all in one, just like the original Stasco spray, but with that delicious apple fragrance. Look for these new products at trade shows and your favorite distributors like Cascade Grooming Supplies. Ready, groomers? Here comes our first appointment. All I can say is I've done nothing but eat since I got home. Anybody who's on the trip with us knows why. So we just got back from the tent sale at Showseason and then a little quick trip through Groom'd. And we figured you guys would want to hear about how much fun we had. So we're going to tell you all about it. Barbara, I was overwhelmed with the love. Completely overwhelmed.
I know you weren't ready. You weren't ready to be a celebrity. And we're not just names. We're people to these people. We're friends to these people. They think they know us. And we've made a difference in their lives. That's the part that touches me. It's the acknowledgement that we got from so many people about what we've meant for them. It's not like being just a movie star and you love the movie.
Right, because we're not playing a character. We actually play ourselves.
We actually play a better version of ourselves.
You know what I thought that was the coolest thing of all? I mean, the whole thing was cool. Don't get me wrong. My feet still haven't touched the ground. But it was people that brought me Pepsi. I loved that because I was a Pepsi drinker in a Coca-Cola town, and everybody who listens knew that I was going to have an issue, and I got several bags of Pepsi, and that was really cool. Thank you, everyone. And I was thinking, whose names do I remember? God, I don't remember a lot of names. I remember Ethan. I definitely remember our two new very best friends, Marg and Cheyenne, which without them, the weekend would not have been the same. It was so much fun. It was just like being part of the cool kids. I always wanted to be part of the cool kids, but I really was part of the cool kids this time, and it's all because of you guys who listen to the show, and I can't thank you enough. It was sweet. Oh, and when we got to Showseason, it was obvious that they were not expecting the amount of people that came. That was cool.
I know. We brought them too many people. Even too many.
Yeah.
They didn't have enough food. Like, they did not anticipate the crowd that we pulled into the tent sale. And that was just like really satisfying. It's especially satisfying to me.
There were so many people there. They were parked 3 deep in the parking lot. And we had to go to other warehouses and ask if the people could park in their parking lots because it was so overflowing out to the street. That was fun. And I was wound up. I was sprung so tight. Oh, my goodness. I was so nervous to do my little talk. I was hyped, but the kind of nervous that's really fun. I enjoyed that. I will say that the venue was not ideal for either one of us. Could have been better, and hopefully next year they'll get it a little bit better. But for what we had, I could not have had a better time. It was so much fun. And then to come around the corner and to see Barbara's signing table all set up with the stack of books in the back.
I know. I didn't expect there to be a banner behind me of a picture of me with a dog kissing my face. And there was a line of people lined up to buy a book and have me sign it. I haven't ever had that many. I had a few in, I think it was Australia when I went there and we had books. But not people that knew me that well. I mean, there were people that I hadn't seen for 8 years from Atlanta Pet Fair that came to the tent sale and found me. And I said, oh, it's been too long and all of this. And I recognize their faces. There's this one woman that shows up all the time. She just adores me. I can't remember her name for the life of me, but I'll never forget her face, and I always recognize her. She's a follower. It's amazing. It's amazing.
For those who did not watch the video walkthrough, you sign up at a registration desk, and then over to the right, you've got racks and racks of products ready to purchase with sale prices and one price drop shipping. And then there was a mini trade show set up. So there was us with the signing table, Barbara's signing table, and me sitting next to her looking cute. There were a charitable organization. There was some groomers who had a shelter. There was electric cleaner company, and Groomers Mart was there, and they were the ones who provided the books. And there was a really cool lady named Remy who had this nifty idea, and I'm going to share about it a little bit here. And if you want to know more about it, you can go watch that video, although I think it's only going to be up for like 25 more days. So you have to hit it. Just scroll down and look for the tent sale video walkthrough. But she had invented this idea of a website that you can go to and you can purchase a gift for your client when the pet passes away, and give a handwritten, not by you, but by her. She'll write it, but you can give a sentiment on the card, and it's all under $30. And there's all kinds of neat things like wind chimes and sun catchers, and there's a memory garden, and there's just neat little trinkets and things that you can pick all for under $30 to send to your client. And I don't know about you, but I've become kind of lazy about sending out those sympathy cards. Instead, I call, I talk to them, but I don't send the physical card anymore because the lady who made my cards is not scrapbooking anymore. I used to have each individual card made by this wonderful woman, and they were all very personalized and beautiful, and then she stopped, and then I really haven't picked up the ball. But it just so happened I won the raffle that gave me a $50 credit to use Remy's service, which is called Pet Perennials. And they have a website, and go check it out. They also have the ability to send happy things too. It doesn't always have to be a sympathy card, but she explains it really well on that video. Anyway, I'm going to try the service out the next time somebody goes to the Rainbow Bridge and see how it works, because I've got a $50 credit.
That's a cool service. Really unique. She was a fun woman. She was just vivacious and full. She tells great jokes. And she has 2 jokes that she tells, but she tells them really, really well.
Oh, she sure did.
She's cool. She's a cool woman. Yeah, we loved Remy.
As you guys all know, I have a terrible time eating. I'm a bad eater. I'm a super taster. Those who've been with the podcast for a long time remember when I discovered I was a super taster. I had the worst eating experiences in Atlanta. By the 4th day, I didn't even want to eat anything else, so I ordered soup, and that was cold. It came to the table cold. It was just a rotten deal for eating. Luckily, I don't think anyone's died from not eating for 4 days, so I survived it. I had a pizza, a bag of chips, a few bites of a hamburger, a few bites of some Southern food. And when I got to the airport, I've never been so excited to see a bagel place in my life. I ran, pushing people out of the way. I need food. All in all, it was really fun. And what made it so fun was the people. And people like Remy and the people from Showseason, Sandy and Dave, and all the employees there who were working on the tent sale day, and everybody who made everything, like Taylor, who made everything go smoothly for us. Although there were a few hiccups, I would love to have a conversation with Sandy about things that I would have done differently if I were her. But I think she knows majorly that we need microphones. Barbara and I need microphones, because in a warehouse like that, it was very difficult to hear us. And the timing was not great. Barbara should have been 10 o'clock in the morning, not 3 in the afternoon. I was perfectly content to go at lunchtime, though. It was a perfect spot for me.
Oh, you did a great job. I was very proud of you.
Oh, thank you. And you did too.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I quickly realized that it was not going to be as technical and complete a educational experience as I had intended, but instead I made it be a little bit more fun. I showed them the golden bird. I flipped Susy up. I just kind of did my thing, and I emphasized hazard versus risk and some of the very important concepts of natural versus synthetic. I emphasized those two aspects of chemistry, and I really had an enjoyable time. And I just loved the acknowledgement, and I loved the hugs. I just experienced every kind of hug, from the big encompassing bear hug to the titty bump.
And the side hug and the man hug where you pat the other person on the back. You did it all.
And then I just kind of observed the variety of hugs that I received, like I would. Categorize them, name them.
Showseason did a good job of keeping us busy. We got spend a little bit of time with all the vendors that showed up on the first night, and then on the second night we went over to the brewery and we had kind of a anybody's welcome party. And the best thing about that was music bingo. We played music bingo, and it was so much fun. I enjoyed that. And I think the only thing that I would do differently that was major for next time is I'm renting a car next time, because getting back and forth from the places we were to be at and over to Groom'd and moving us to the eating spots and stuff would have been much easier if we had our own car. So next time, definitely a rental car.
I think that the one major thing for me was that I did not appreciate ahead of time that the hotel that was just a few blocks from the tent show had no restaurant or bar. It had chips and Coke. That was very limiting, and I tried to use my Uber Eats app. I updated the payment method on my Uber account, but I couldn't get the password, so I couldn't use it. I had to eat a bag of chips and actually a Pepsi, because Susy left me 2 Pepsi. And I never drink that stuff, but I needed something.
I was happy to have it and happy to share it.
My spirit was full, but my body was hurting.
Oh, yeah.
After a day on a warehouse floor and sitting in a folding chair, that's not exactly comfortable after a couple of hours.
It would have been easier to see you if you were on a riser, so that's another thing they'll probably adjust next time.
Yeah, I think they will. They did a lot of upgrading to the interior of the warehouse. They had large, colorful, fun banners all over the place, big banners with dog faces that you recognize. There were like 4 different dogs that showed up on these different banners, and that was really fun. It was visually much more appealing than just the bare shelves with the boxes of product in it that were still there, but they augmented that with these beautiful banners, and so the whole place looked more welcoming and accessorized for the day and more tent sailors. I really like that, and now they need to upgrade the speaker arrangements and give us a sound system and a platform.
But that wasn't the end of our visit, though, was it? We got to go to Groom'd. We had so much fun over at Groom'd, but the logistics of getting back and forth, we didn't plan that out too well. We should have moved Barbara when I moved, and we didn't, so she spent a leisurely day in the hotel with no food while I was like 30 miles away and couldn't really help her with that much. So that was the only bad part about that. But best shot was kind enough to give us floor passes for the trade show as ambassadors. So Barbara got to add that to her collection of trade show passes. She now has one that says ambassador. And we got to spend some one-on-one time with Dave Campanella.
That's always valuable. Yeah, he's such a great guy, and he's knowledgeable, and he's humble about it. And we love him. We love all of our sponsors. I loved going around, and they just squealed and yelled and hugged us and stopped everything and got selfies. Got so many selfies that we got over the weekend. It was amazing.
Best Shot is releasing their clarifying shampoo in a scent-free option. It's coming up, and we got to talk to Dave a little bit about that. Then we moved on to Groom'd, where we got to meet Jay and his clan in person. And to me, it was very obvious why they're the top of customer service in that area of our industry.
Such warm and fun, excited about life people. I mean, it was just uplifting just to be with them for a little while. I can't say enough about the Groom'd experience at Groom'd. I just thought they were fabulous folks.
And I requested an upgrade, a little thing I wanted them to adjust on their scheduling. Well, you guys can watch for it and see if it pops up on yours pretty soon. But he actually took a picture of my suggestion and sent it right to his programmer friends so that they could get on it and make the update. And that is why they are so fantastic. Right at a busy trade show, they responded to my request and starting to make it happen. And he said, watch for it. It'll be coming up soon. So you guys watch and tell me if you can figure out what it is that I suggested. And if you can, there may just be a prize in it. So definitely post it.
And you know what? He's extending my use of the Groom'd app, even though I've closed my shop, because I told him that I was going to be doing some work when I moved to South Carolina, and I wanted to keep it. And he said, no problem. So gracious, so generous.
Then we cruised around the corner and we got over to Hanvey Engineering, and we got to see our friends Curtis and Ashley and Chris and Kathy. We got to see everybody. And of course, they had a nice van there and got to look at all their stuff. And they are just the most lovely people in the world. And we had a little chat about the Bathing Beauty, and it looks like they've got pumps in stock. So you guys, if you don't own a Bathing Beauty, get out there and buy one. You will save your hands and your back and water saving, and it'll be just better all, and your products will work better.
Hold on. They're going to let me sell the Bathing Beauty again. They're going to redo my deal with them. So wait a month. Don't go right now and buy it. Wait and buy one through me, because Lord knows I need the money, honey. We'll be talking more and more about the Bathing Beauty recirculating system, because both Susie and I just love that technology to bits.
Oh, speaking of being crazy about technology, I am so excited that I bought another pair of Lynx shears. I bought the little curves, and I was messing around with them as I was working this week, thinking about how nice the people are at Precision Sharp. I mean, all of them. That was an immensely warm welcome, an unbelievably warm visit. It was so fantastic. But I was grabbing for my old shears, and I thought, why am I grabbing for my old shears? And then I realized I had slid the thumb ring too far up. So I slid it all the way to the back so it's even, which is where it works better for me. Oh my gosh, those are nice shears. I had beautiful finishes this week. And seeing Melissa and Cheryl and the other lady who totally complimented me on my editing, which of course made my head so big. Really, my head was so big by the time we left the Showseason Tent sale that I couldn't get through the roll-up garage doors. It was so fat. I couldn't get through the door. That's how fat it was then. And my feet have not touched the ground since either. But going over to see all of Randy's stuff and watch him sharpen a little bit and visit with the whole gang there. What a lovely group of people. So lucky we have them.
The other thing that I really appreciated at Groom'd was the grooming competition,
yes,
which was like right there. You didn't have to go down the hall into another ballroom or anything like that. It was just like right there. You could just like drift from the aisles of the vendors right over to the ring where they were doing the grooming. Huge classes.
The skill level was unbelievable.
It's a groom team sanctioned event. Not all trade shows have sanctioned groom team events where the points that you make from winning go towards your becoming eligible for groom team. But Atlanta does. So all the best ones were there. We watched a little bit of the terrier grooming, which was fabulous. And of course, I love my terrier breeds. But they had an enormous amount of sporting breeds. And as a groomer, I just don't see that in Tucson. We don't have very many sporting breeds. A cocker occasionally drifts in, and usually they want it like clipped short all over. But there was cockers and English cockers and Springer Spaniels, and the most gorgeous Gordon setter took the group, and she was right in front of us when we watched her groom, and this dog was just beautiful. And then to show him off to the judges, she had to actually get one knee up on her table so that she could hold the dog from nose to tip of tail and show him to the judges. And these dogs are all like trained to stack properly, so they showed themselves off. It was an amazing class, and I was mesmerized. And one of my high points was when Nadia Boncelli, who kind of started out coming over to my shop in Tucson, asking me what I knew about poodle lines because she thought she wanted to get better, and then moved to Canada and became a competition groomer. She took third place in the sporting breed. And after she had won and gotten her picture taken and all of that, she was just standing there with her dog, and I called her, and she came racing out of the competition area into my arms to give me a hug. It was just like, oh man, that was such an acknowledgement and such a reunion, and so happy a moment. It just couldn't get better, you know?
I think it adds so much to the competition ring when you know people who are in there competing, because Helen Schaefer was in there as well doing her beautiful cocker. And Nadia did a English cocker. And just the cockers, the English and the American cockers, were stunning in their just beautiful grooming, and it was so much fun to be right up front. We didn't get to see any of the creative, but they do have a lot of different classes there, different than the Barkley shows. And that was kind of fun. They had a duo competition for creative where you get to have a team, you get a partner, and you both work on the dog. I think that's a great idea.
It was a good show. I was able to get past my irritation with the name of the event because it's always been Atlanta Pet Fair, and that was one of the main shows that I've spoken at and kind of experienced and built a fan base. And now I changed the name to this Groom'd, which I thought was dorky. But I was able to get right past that and enjoyed the hell out of that show.
Me too.
It was cool.
I did some shopping and I did some live videos and I got to meet some people. And there were these people I think I just mentioned earlier with the electric trailers. And I'm just going to plug them for a minute because their trailers are so cool. They're battery powered. They are putting out like 50 amps in a battery, which that's hard to do. And I'm not sure how these are going to hold up, but I thought I'd give them a plug. And their website is ppsnational.com. So if you want to check out these battery-powered grooming trailers, they will include delivery in their prices. And if you don't want to deliver it and you want to pick it up in Texas, they knock a little bit off the price. But I bought some cool stuff. You know what my favorite thing that I got, other than my lynx shears from Precision Sharp, is that grooming smock from Ooh La La spa wear, and it is phenomenal. It's fuchsia colored and black, and it's got a little paw print over the left boob. These are really nice feeling. They're not all feeling like you're in your rain gear. They're supple and they're very flattering, at least the one I got, which is called Happy Paws or something like that. Let me see, what is it called? Love Your Paws. It's the Love Your Paws top. If you go to their website, it is oolalaSpawear.com. They've got other choices, but there's a couple of them. There's also one that has like darts that go down the front in a very flattering manner that are bright pink and on a black background. Those ones were nice too. Really well made. Also, I bought a huge box of stuff at Showseason because I couldn't resist. That's coming on Wednesday. They had every possible cologne out for me to spray on myself. I went out of there smelling like fruit salad.
That's what took you so long to get back to me when I had to pee.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, when you were there out there doing your smelly thing. I said, what is taking you so long? She said, I'm going to go buy a few things. I'll be right back. Well, it took her an hour, and meanwhile, I'm in a chair. She's wheeling me around, and I had to pee. Well, now I find out she's over there testing fragrances. And I had to smell every single one.
Every one. Even the ones I didn't like.
I wondered what in the world. I thought maybe she ran into a cute man or something. No, it's her nose thing. Gotta have her smelly.
Wait till that box shows up. I'm going to have so much fun. You're going to smell me 10 minutes before I arrive at the house. I mean, the dog. I didn't mean me. No, actually, it's me. I really do mean me. I'm going to spray myself all over.
And I'm going to say, from a technical point of view, I really approve of colognes more than scented shampoos and conditioners because the cologne stays on the surface of the hair and doesn't really affect the skin. So you're very unlikely to get allergic reactions from colognes, much less likely than you are shampoos and conditioners that actually contact the skin.
Yeah. Well, I would love to say that we were going to take a break, but we're already past an hour. So I feel like we will be saving our deep dive for next week, which is a bummer because Barbara worked hard on that.
Oh, and I was ready, and I'm just looking at the time and saying, oh my God, we just used up all our time talking about this other stuff, talking about our trip. Well, it's worth it. Now you know more than you wanted to know, probably, about our trip. Next week, we'll get real technical.
Yeah, we might even spend the whole time on this one little tidbit because it's a good one and Barbara's been diving deep. And if I know her, she'll probably go even deeper this week. She'll be swimming.
I can't help it.
Swimming with the fishes.
I was in a deep conversation with ChatGPT, not to mention Google. Me and Google.
She does the Scholar site.
Yeah.
Well, let's just move on because I've got to go do that Pomeranian with the difficult nail trim. And I bought a new muzzle to try on him. I'm excited to test that out. It's one of those over the ears and around the back of the head jobbies. So I'm looking forward to it.
Wow, I missed that.
And I get to play more with my new Lynx scissors because now that I've got them adjusted the right spot, they really are fantastic. So here's what I'm going to say about that, just as a wrap up. If you cannot get to a trade show, so you cannot put your hands on scissors, if you buy the Precision Sharp Lynx scissors, they are so adjustable that you will be guaranteed to find a spot that will be comfortable for you. It may take you a week or two, but once you find it, they are going to fit your hands like a glove, not like other scissors that are more one size fits all, but they really don't. So that's that. Okay, Barbara, have a good week.
Okay, Susie.
I'm so energized. See, I'm still feeling a high. Talking in a room full of people who kind of already know you is a wonderful high. Way better than drugs. Okay, almost as good as drugs. Almost. Happy grooming, everybody. Thanks for being here at the GroomPod. Bye-bye now.
And take care of yourselves because we love you.